Good day, everybody. You've got Behind the Screens, hosted by yours truly, Glenn Benjamin, and my co-conspirator, partner in crime, David Moadab. David, say hi.
Hi,
He follows instructions well.
to
So
the
here we
letter.
are at the end of 2025. Dave and I have been doing these podcasts on a fairly regular basis. We're going to get better going into 2026 and have a lot more fun. We're going to talk a little tech, a little cyber, a little AI, and talk about really a lot of different things where we've seen it go here in 2025, where we think it's going in 26. We are not that smart. We don't know exactly where a lot of this is going, but we'll share our thoughts. We'll share our opinions, and we may drop, some colorful language occasionally throughout this, and I don't apologize for it because that's the fun of this. David, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you see in the future.
Well, in case you don't know me, I'm David Moadab. I founded Solution Squad, which is a managed IT services company 20 years ago. And for the last 20 years, I've been helping small business owners get their time back by managing their IT for them. Like Glenn, my co-conspirator said, our goal with this podcast has been to give back to the community and help demystify tech with a few F-bombs in there. So if this isn't for you, now's the time to tune out. But otherwise, strap in. We're gonna have one hell of a show. Let's start.
Right. And just my background for the two or three of you that don't know who I am. Again, Glenn Benjamin, I have been involved in cybersecurity for a bunch of years. I will admit that I'm going through a bit of a career transition, but that's going to be a tease for next year. So, you'll have to
Ooh.
come back and see where it is I'm going to be going. It will still be in the cybersecurity space, but a different role, different aspect. I have different objectives, but regardless, I still want to stay tight in the South Florida community as well as nationwide. This could spread into a lot of different things. So there's your tease for the show today. So
That went a
so
lot farther than I thought it was going to go. That's some
yeah,
serious
that's as
teasing
far
right
as I
there.
can go. Again, I'm under non-disclosure, and I've got to worry about my parole officer and others watching this, going, "Wait a second, you can't talk." I'll
Yeah, we
talk.
don't want to we don't want to intrude on the non-disclosure. That wouldn't be cool.
Exactly, because the attorneys are lining up here right beside me, going, "Can't say that." Okay. So, Dave, do you want to give us a topic to kind of get this started with that? And we've put some ideas together. Yes, there's some AI involved in all of this. You can't get away from it. And is that a good lead in for you, Dave?
That's a good lead in what 2025 was. And that's really the nauseating factor in all of it is AI. Every product you use, everything you touch is now AI first. Ironically, AI has been around since well, when I
Uh,
first started the business, we used AI. If this, then do that. But today it's at the forefront, and of course, there's security involved with it. So it's a reality.
yeah, let me just say AI started mid 50s. It truly did. There's scientific evidence we were using some form, but generative AI, which is the one where we can talk back and forth to, just became 3 years old.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
and by the way, Dave is the techie. I'm more of the spiritual evangelist for a lot of this tech. And by the way, multi-religion, multicultural. I don't, I don't adhere to any religion to speak of, but that's kind of my role. And Dave, I'll call Dave. How does this work again? Because I don't remember. So,
Well, in the tech world, we're in the religion of technology. That's it. There's no other. It's
yeah,
technology is the religion in this world.
yep. So keep going. Go ahead.
So yeah, AI was the big thing, bolted onto everyday products, and it is everything. Even in your phone, right? Think about your latest phone, the Galaxy 26 that's coming out, really has no wow features, right? But what it does have is Bixby's new AI, everything else. So new phones, which yours is still got the wrapping on it, right? You just got it?
Mine is 3 days old. I had trouble with my old one. I think I took the wrapper off, but yeah.
It
Um,
hasn't even had a chance to slow down yet.
no, no, and I've been updating and migrating because of where I said, I'm not going to discuss it today, but that was a pain in the ass to migrate everything. I had it all backed up in a password manager, but nothing works exactly as it purports to be. So I've spent this week, which is a down week anyway, doing that kind of stuff. Pain in the
So
ass.
since we deviated to that, I'm going to bring this up because this bears mentioning, okay? When you were dealing with that nightmare, and as you were spending your time dealing with that nightmare, the hero in that scenario was the person who you trusted with your IT and went to, and they helped you. I'm not going to name names, but that happened. And the point I want to drive to any business owner that's listening is there's two scenarios where you run technology in your business. The first one is you do it yourself, or you have some friend, cousin, dog walker, kid down the street that does it for you, and you spend hours and hours and hours of doing it, or you have a professional. Glenn, how long did it take from Dave, I got this problem I've been at for 4 hours to, oh, here, click here, it's done.
How long did it solve after someone told me, this unnamed source told me to do? An
No,
hour.
how long was it before you had the solution to go
Oh,
implement?
well, and just to make perfectly clear, my previous mobile phone was not charging. I couldn't charge it through the USB port. And they said it was either water damage, which it wasn't, and it was something maybe embedded. I took it to the local retail store, not mentioning names. We don't find anything. You could go to You Break iFix. I know them well. I've not done business with them, but
Good people.
they're good people. I know. In the previous world, I worked with them. So, but we don't know what they're going to charge. Then they looked at my account and said, I'll tell you what, we'll just upgrade your phone for $20. I'm like, wait a second. They're going to charge me more than 20. I get a new phone because I'd had the old phone for about 2.5 years. It's time. Do it here, boom, done. So that was part of that cycle. And when I did all the transitions, not everything works perfect. And you and I will say nothing is perfect. So I spent 2 days saying a lot of bad words like fuck, shit, and whatever. Then I called this guy Dave. I found him in the yellow pages. Oh, do the yellow pages still list? No, they don't exist. But anyhow, after speaking to Dave, just do these 2 or 3 things. Calm down. I took some meds. I felt better. And about an hour, well, I let it sit overnight because I just needed a break. And then the next morning, everything basically worked. Dave is the techie. I'm the evangelist. As long as you guys understand that, we're good. So thank you, Dave, in front of the dozens of people that are following this right
Remember,
now.
Dave is anonymous. I don't know who you're talking to, but the
Oh,
moral of the story was don't waste 2 days when you could reach out to a pro and get it done in 15 minutes. In business, those 2 days would have cost thousands and thousands of dollars, where
mhm.
it's when you do it with the right person, it's done right. You're not going in circles. All right, moving
Can,
on.
can I give you? Let me
Yeah,
give you. Can I give you a number on what that would have cost me if I was not in downtime mode, vacation mode, holiday mode? Do you know what that would have cost? And this is for anybody out there. My real title, which I never give out because none of you care, is I'm a certified business resiliency manager, contingency planning, which I did back up things, but it didn't work perfect. I didn't have a chance to test all this. So as a contingency manager, this is something you've got to plug in your heads. If your business is $1 million a year business in production, whatever it is, I don't need to know what the real number is. David, do you know what an hour of downtime costs you?
at $1 million a year, I have no idea, but I know it's going to really, really, really hurt your reputation with your client base, no matter how long.
Which is more important than the dollars? But you want to take a guess? Come on. You
That
could win a free coffee mug I've had for 100 years.
depends on
So
your payroll, but I'd say 1,500 an hour.
that's actually not too bad. It's really $500 an hour. I would have lost if my business was down, right? So think about that. 4 hours is 2 grand. 24 hours would be 12 grand. 12 grand a day if you're running $1 million business. So when I talk to you about business continuity and contingency planning, I want to find what your pain point is. I want to figure out where the liability on your deductible of your cyber insurance or whatever you have, where all of a sudden it runs out and we build it backwards. That's how I was trained. It's a long story, but David, $500. I mean, I literally spent 3 or 4 hours doing this. Let's just call it 2 grand. I would have lost if my business was down. You saved me that day. So you are now a tech and AI superhero.
There's something you can't put a value on. The value of the trust you would have lost in a real business environment.
Mm-hmm.
You no longer trust your authenticator app now. You no longer trust your backups until you go long enough where you verify it's working again, right? That trust is now eroded. Your staff wouldn't have trusted you as the owner of the business because you let them down and you shut them down and New Year's Eve. Oh my God. Your client base doesn't trust you anymore. So those 2 grand, yeah, on paper, you would have lost 2 grand. But in the long term, in the reality of the business world, especially small business, you look like an idiot and you lost that. So there's a lot of facets to it to point out to small business owners. And I'm glad your phone broke so we could have this discussion. But let's go back to our main topic. I don't want it to be the Dave show.
I'm giving you a bunch of virtual love here, by the way. Hope you
I
like that.
am I am seeing it pop up, and kudos to Zoom, the professional platform, for putting hearts into there.
By the way, they call themselves AI. That Zoom now just calls everything they do AI. It's advertising and marketing. So I see it, but I'll shut up.
Uh, and I'm so tired of vendors putting AI into everything. Listen, I got a new shirt. I don't have to tell everybody I got a new shirt because it's normal that you go buy new shirts when the time comes, right? AI isn't a cool thing anymore in terms of, oh my God, we have it too. Everybody's got it. Enough already. Enough shoving it down my throat. Every app I open, I haven't opened in a week. There's a new AI feature, which brings me to the security side of this. There is AI in everything now. AI is watching everything you type. AI is listening to everything you say. AI is paying attention. And if you're not securing that, oh boy, do you have a problem in your hand because your data is going out there. And if you don't have an AI policy in your business, your staff doesn't know they're not supposed to go for free chat GPT and throw everything in there. So now they're giving away your company info. And while it's great that they may change the name in one instance, ChatGPT by default has memory. So when they put the next time and forget to remove the name, now I can put it all together and get that persona going. Um, I don't want to talk about that video thing yet, but I have a Sora thing to share about how it's going into GPT and kind of freaking me out.
Oh, okay. You're going to show us later?
Not show, it's just things it does. And I think there may be a breach of trust between Sora and ChatGPT itself.
Which is the parent company of Sora, right?
Correct, which
So
gives
that
you the ability to separate the two.
right.
Okay, so we'll get into it.
Yeah,
Um,
and it'll show some of your Tinder videos and pictures too, right?
Wherein comes the problem? Got to keep the personality separate, and when that doesn't happen, it's a problem. So yeah, my new business card. First of all, I don't trust AI. I don't trust anything that keeps my data, so I minimize any of that. So in
Mm-hmm.
GPT, there's a thing called memory. I have memory disabled. I don't want you to know anything about me. I will tell you what you need to know. You take it from there. So I was designing my new business card. GPT did a phenomenal job with this.
Hold it a little closer to. And there's his. If you guys pause this right now, and you can grab his QR code. There you go.
There you go.
Yes.
Key point being is the title there, okay? So remember, my GPT doesn't keep memories. The only place this title has ever been mentioned is on this business card. I had it help me with the card. We finished that. That was about 2, 3 months ago. I still haven't deleted the conversation, but memory is turned off. Now go to the Sora side of things. GPT is for conversations. Sora is for video. Sora also has a setting of, hey, do you want me to look at ChatGPT's memory or anything there to create your videos? And I told it no. But guess what? When Sora is making videos, and if it puts my title, it's putting my new title there. So even though OpenAI says there's no communication there and it says you have this setting to turn off, it's still leaking data. And that brings us to the security side of things. Just because you think you turned off a setting doesn't mean it's not there. You got to be careful what you put out there because it's there. You're writing it somewhere. Once you type it, it's there. It exists. It doesn't go bye-bye.
And just to play the opposite side, you might have sent an email at some point with your new title. Is that possible? No? Okay.
Because GPT
Houston.
helped me optimize the title on the card. It came up with this.
So, Houston, we may have a problem.
There's a leak somewhere.
Yeah. And got boys and girls, we're going to teach you over and over zero trust in anything we do. Don't believe it. Don't buy it. I'm not from Missouri, but you got to prove it. You got to show it to me, type of stuff. But it sounds like there is a conflict within OpenAI. I can't imagine why. I mean, they're only making $1 bazillion a day. So why is that a problem? By just taking a little bit of David's or my information, I'm using Sora too. I have become a fanatic at it because people call me, text me, going, "That's freaking cool," and I make up shit, and just kind of like. And by the way, I'm using AI to create Sora, and I'm doing a Microsoft Copilot, full disclosure, and it's creating outlines for me. I'm like, oh, I like that one, So do it wisely and be careful what you share. That's what David is trying to say.
Yep.
And like David has said, the AI is showing up everywhere. And when we first got these digital assistants in our homes, the Alexas and the Google assistants, we thought it was cool. I haven't I have it on just to play music. I thought that was the greatest thing ever invented. I play my Sirius XM stuff and I have music all day. I thought that was it. We have blown so far past that that it is amazing. And literally any appliance that has power and can get to the internet has it. So you've got to look at a security standpoint that you got to protect everything in your home, and you better have a firewall. I know Dave has one, I have one, and it looks for things that are hitting the internet. They're not that expensive. Take a look at your home firewalls. It may save you one day. And I do have a granddaughter that lives with me. She just turned 18, and she knows that I know that she knows that I'm watching what she's doing. She thinks it's a game, Roblox and Minecraft. That's how the bad guys get to us. So just word to the wise. Put something in your home that watches anything that connects to your internet. Because if something happens, who they're going to blame? They're going to blame Dave. So
It's always Dave's fault, but
yeah, right.
I like how you mentioned the Internet of Things and smart things.
Mm-hmm.
My newsletter, which actually goes out tomorrow morning, the major topic is actually that. We didn't practice this part, but you mentioned it.
Right.
IoT, Internet of Things devices, smart devices. You mentioned it for the house, which, I have a smart home and it's amazing, and I'm trying to get rid of Alexa from listening. But in the business world, you have a Nest thermostat in your business. If that's sitting on the same as your corporate network and that gets compromised, your smart thing in your business just took you down because you hadn't thought of that. Again, working with a professional, that doesn't happen. Separate networks, separate things, geeky stuff that I do to keep that safe. But those are the things that people overlook. It's awesome that your employee walks in with that cool new AI enabled smartphone, but what else can they do with that phone that's now sitting on your corporate network because you don't have a proper employee network or guest network? It's getting uglier and uglier, and you keep talking about how amazing AI is and all this technology, but the guys behind the scenes that have to protect it it's getting serious, but cool stuff.
It is cool, but zero trust.
Zero
I don't
trust.
know. Maybe we'll talk about this later. Because I'm out in the community quite a bit. I do speak at schools. I do speak at senior events about some of this. So maybe when we get into deep fakes, I'll speak a little bit about that because they're faking the shit out of us.
Oh, let's talk about it now. Why
You
not?
want me? Okay,
Sure, let's roll with it.
I do a lot with Broward schools. Primarily, I've been in Palm Beach and had conversations, a little bit Miami-Dade, and I'm talking to kids about career pathing, talking about tech. The availability of cybersecurity jobs is incredible. Tri-County, we have about 16,000 people that work in cybersecurity, like David and I. But the last time I looked last week, we had 5,800 jobs not being filled because we don't have enough qualified people. So I'll talk about internships, apprenticeships, scholarships, ways you can get this paid for you. And again, full disclosure, I am an academic advisor at Broward Tech Schools, McFadder, Sheridan, and Atlantic Tech. So I consult with them. And some of the first visits I was sent to, which made no sense at the beginning, were middle schools. And like, why are you sending the short, portly, bald 66-year-old guy to a middle school to talk to kids about career pathing? I didn't know what to say. And they just said, go, because you're fast on your feet. What I did is I put together a list of like the top 10 or 20 entry level tech jobs where the salary started at 50,000, 60, 70, worked its way up to 100,000, depending on how many certs you have. And the kids, 11, 12-year-olds, stopped throwing spitballs at me at that point and said, I can make $50,000 a year? Really? Hold on. And they shut up. They were all of a sudden going, wow. And then I do speak at high schools, obviously tech schools and universities, because we're in such a dilemma. We don't have enough qualified people. Do you need a 4-year degree? No. Again, I'm at Broward Tech Schools. You could take a semester or two and spend a fraction of what it would be at a major institution to get your feet wet. But I will say, and I'll shut up here, is again, get an internship, because if you don't have experience, you may not be able to qualify. So as an intern in whatever job, and show us what you're doing in the community. Beach cleanups count. Volunteer at your church, volunteer at your school, get involved, because it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And that, my friends, is a great way to land a job. So I'll shut up for a second. David,
No,
take it from there.
you're laying down good advice. I like it.
Oh, and I should say, I do speak at senior events, and I try to tell them everything you see is fake. I try to start that way, and they don't believe me. I do go through some demos. I do show something, and it's on the internet. This is not Morgan Freeman, the best voice in the world. And they sit there and go, oh. And I had this happen about 3 months ago. I was speaking at an event in Hallandale, and one of the women raised her hand. Well, I gave Morgan $1,000 last month to donate for his cause. That wasn't the real Morgan Freeman. So, especially here in South Florida, we have all these HOAs and all these senior programs. You have to trust no one. Get your, God, I'm drawing a blank here. Get your, what's the word I'm looking for? Drawing a blank, it'll come back to me. But whoever manages your finances, your caregiver, get your caregiver, get your attorney, get your CPA involved. So large withdrawals get stopped at the bank. And I'll give kudos to Sun Credit Union in Hollywood. They follow my advice, and they've created a third-party senior program, so large amounts over $1,000 or whatever that number is that the family decides does not get dispersed because they saw something and they want to donate, or their kid, the fake video of their grandchild is in jail and they need $10,000 to get out. So I'm going to give kudos to Sun for listening to me.
That's actually earned. No, that's earned kudos right there, because they actually did something about it instead of sending out an email nobody's ever going to read, or a flyer that's going to go straight in the garbage. They made a difference.
Yeah. So now you see my community involvement, and I'm everywhere. If you can't find me, that means you're not trying. Coffee.
But who would be trying? So, You mentioned education and stuff like that. I just want to throw something out there. You and I went to a certain unnamed university not too long ago to be advisors on how their curriculum should work and how they should be educating. And I'm going to generalize this as much as I can because I don't want to offend them, but man, they have no idea what they're teaching. And what they are teaching is not modern and it's not current. We have a major problem because those kids you're talking to, when they get old enough to get it into these universities and stuff, if that's the level they're going to be facing when they hit the work market, they're not going to be that great because they're just not learning the right things. There was a lot of smart people in that room, but the disconnect was there. And that's a major problem. We need to educate better. We need to educate the educators better.
I mentioned 5,800 jobs right here. Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach are sitting there. The number has actually gotten a little worse. It was last year maybe 5,000. So it's creeping up that jobs are not getting filled. And there's the problem that the young adults don't understand. And this university also deals with adults and they're trying to do career changes. They're not ready. And
You think
you said when
generically.
they go into the workforce, most of these people are already in the workforce to some degree. And they're like, we don't know what to do with this. There's a problem.
They're experiencing it live. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big problem.
Yep.
All right. You mentioned Morgan Freeman, deep AI, stuff like that. I do want to go back to that because it's such an important thing. That's really one of the, from a security perspective, zero trust goes into this, and really at the highlight of 25, the crazy things that we saw in the last year become reality. The videos, right? I, look, 3 months ago, somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, where do you make these videos?" I'm like, "On my phone." I go, "No, no, no. I mean, what studio are you working with to do?" The guy didn't realize that this was AI. This was 3, 4 months ago, right? But it's still a problem because the reality is people are not exposed enough to it to realize that what you see is no longer reality. You can no longer trust your ears or your eyes. It's time to use the brain. So, one key thing before I forget, have a safe word with your family. If your kid calls you and says, "Dad, I've been kidnapped," or is on video, or you get a video, great. What's the safe word? And that safe word is never spoken of again. It's never written down. It's never messaged verbally. What's the safe word? Because without that, you're never going to know who's real or not. If it's Morgan Freeman giving you money, taking your money, or if he's playing God again today. But don't trust.
And by the way, he's the most trusted voice in the world. If I were to get that call, I would pause for a second and go, "Oh, what a great voice!" But I know it's not real. We're trained that way. We're trained not to trust anything, and then or it's trust but verify, and you got to verify, what you're hearing, listening. Call the person, do something. Don't just run to the bank. Sun Credit Union, I love you for what you've done. But most banks go, sure, here's your 10, 20,000. An hour later, the fake kid calls, and well, the attorney needs another 5 or 10,000. And this could go on for hours or days and liquidate your whole savings, your lifetime savings. And because I'm exposed to some of this and I see it and hear it, I should say I also 6 months ago did an event at an alumni association of a very large company. Again, I won't mention names. After I'm done and I'm doing the education piece and I'm putting all the gear away, everybody's left the room. Somebody who worked for this company for decades said, "Well, last year I fell for something and lost $20,000. Hand to God, true story." And I said, "What'd you do?" And I tried to retrace the steps. But the first thing you got to do is you better inform law enforcement. And if you go to the FBI's website, ic3.gov, that's I like Isaac C. Charles 3.gov, that goes to the FBI, and they at least want to document what's happening. Uh, would I've gotten this 20,000 back? No. But
No,
the
that's
point
gone.
is, it's gone because it's overseas, and once they collect that money, the account is gone. It's poof. So again, we're just going to teach you not to trust anybody or anything, and you're safer that way. And then it's trust but verify after that.
Do you know what made Bitcoin Bitcoin?
Not really.
Ransomware. So Bitcoin was
Yeah.
nothing. Bitcoin didn't count. Nobody gave Bitcoin the time of day until ransomware started happening, and all these bad guys, the digital currency for theft became Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin is great. I wish I'd kept the Bitcoins I mined for fractions of a penny at the time, but that's a different conversation. Point being, these bad guys that today use wire transfer and stuff like that, they still go for Bitcoin because it's non-trackable. And even if you do track it, it's non-returnable. Nobody can put their hand in your bucket and take it back out. So all these bad guys are using that to do what they want. There's another thing they're doing, which this is on the business side. I actually had a consulting call this week with a gentleman that runs a major company doing shipping stuff internationally, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they had a man in the middle attack with one of his customers. From the sounds of it, the client got popped. The bad guys sat in on the conversation long enough to where the purchase was actually happening. So at that point, the bad guys came in on the email and started acting as this guy who's sending this stuff, asking for a wire to his bank account. They switched the numbers to their bank account, took over the entire conversation with the victims, basically. They took over the business. This guy's reputation got dinged, but even though it wasn't his fault because he got involved in it, the other people's reputation is a big problem now, and all that money is gone. Not only is that money gone, the merchandise is now floating in midair. Do you pay for it? Do you not pay for it? Who's stuck with it? It's sitting in the port. Nobody's releasing it because it hasn't been paid for. In the business world, you should also have a safe word. And that safe word should literally be walk over to the next person who asked you to wire something and confirm, hey, did you ask me to do this? Great. I'll go back to my office and do it. Those 10 steps can be the difference between you losing the company a whole lot of money and getting fired. So it's important to have those safeguards in place in the business world as well. We think, oh, it's a closed system, nobody's getting in, but there's always external sources. Emails can always be hacked, even if you protect your side of it, the other side can get popped and it becomes a huge issue.
Yep.
What's
So this,
next?
what's next? I don't know. Let's see. We talked about homes. We've talked about personal digital ecosystems. Do you want to talk about automation? You think that's worth our time here?
Automation and both, yeah, sure. I mean, that's a huge thing for 25, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Automations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Again, automation has been around, like we'll go with what you said, since the 50s, but
Mm-hmm.
this smartness of it has become so much better to what it's capable of doing. The fact that uh, I have a news topic that I'm very interested in. I don't want to research it. So I have an agent in ChatGPT that whenever I want an update on that specific, very, very specific news topic, I go and I say, what's new? That's the only thing I do. I can't go to Google and say what's new about this topic. Google will give me, but it doesn't know what it's shown me before. With a proper agent, what's new? And it actually knows what it's told me before, what's changed since the last change, and tells me what's actually new.
Let
With
me pause you.
Yeah,
What's an agent?
good point. Let's back it up. Being
Yeah.
too techy. So when you're working with an artificial intelligence system, for example, ChatGPT, agentic AI is what they call it. An agent is this little robot? No, what do we call it? An intern.
Chatbot. It's a chatbot
It's a chatbot. Think of
because
it as
you
an
can
intern.
interact back and forth. It is a dialogue with an inanimate object, but it understands. It has some level of reasoning. You mentioned something earlier, talking about using your mind better. We care about critical thinking. AI and chatbots don't have it yet. So you've got to look, you've got to verify whether that's legitimate or not. Go ahead and continue.
So inside of ChatGPT, you could create these specific agents. These agents are, imagine you have 10 employees that work for you, and four of those are those temporary employees whose name is interns. Oh my God, I blanked out.
AI interns, yeah.
AI
Mm-hmm.
interns, right? So you got these four AI interns. You could actually take one of them and say, listen, I want you to sit in the corner all day long, and the only thing I want you to do is monitor the internet for this keyword. Anytime this comes up, let me know. So instead of you constantly searching for something or doing something or repetitively doing something, you use an automation, in this case called an agent, to do that for you. The agent is waiting for me to say, I want it. It gives it to me. Done. There's no babysitting. There's none of that. When you apply that to multiple things inside of your business, life becomes so much easier. When you get a voicemail, for example, we've had automation in there where you get that transcription. Think about how easy that made things. Now imagine doing those kinds of things to all of your email. Hey, chat, hey, Copilot, who do I need to respond to? Comes up with your business stuff. I just lit up a thing in Copilot Sales. It'll actually go and look at all your emails. It'll look at your CRM system. It'll put everything together. And again, this is all built into Microsoft, the world I live in. It puts it all together for you and it comes back with a full profile picture of your conversation with a client. So if you want to pitch this new client something new, or you want to say how the relationship is going as a global company view, just agent it. It goes out and does it for you. Uh, Send agent and Copilot can tell you if something changes. If the client is no longer happy and that agent is constantly updating, it'll come back and tell you things. So agentic AI is a crazy iteration of this.
That's where this automation we're all seeing. And again, you have to have some level of zero trust, if not completely, and go, wait a minute, get a professional. Don't just do this, create it, and throw shit against the wall and expect to see what sticks. That's not going to work because you could have damage to your reputation, as Dave said earlier, and to your business. Can you tolerate 24 hours of downtime? I already told you, if you're $1 million business, that's about 12 grand for the day. But the peer pressure, your reputation damage is worse than 12 grand. You want to really sit and think.
Erosion of
Right.
trust. That's a huge one. Again, going back to this example, the consulting call I had this week, this
Yeah.
poor gentleman, this happened to him close to 6 months ago, right? The instance I was talking about. 3 months ago, he almost blew a deal because he was suspicious that his email was hacked again. Erosion of trust. His own trust in his own system is now eroded because he had that first experience, even though it wasn't really his fault. That alone has him questioning his own business judgment now. It's, we look at one little detail in the entire cyber scope, right? And we say, oh, it's no big deal. It's never going to happen to me. But when you look at the repercussions of that tiny little explosion in your bubble, that's where it gets ugly. So all these precautions that we put out there, it's important that people don't overlook them, because every little one of those could be that spark that you put out that could have been the explosion.
Right. And again, I'm the resiliency guy, and that's the stuff I have been wired on. How I've been trained is, what's your plan? You said the word plan earlier, and the term I use, it's a TLA. Do you know what a TLA is, David?
Three-letter acronym?
Acronym,
Yeah,
three-letter
exactly.
acronym. And that becomes an AUP, an acceptable use policy. So when you go to your insurance company, whether it's cyber insurance, property, health, casualty, you name it, what's your plan? Because if you fail to plan, David,
You plan to fail.
there's your point. So you've got to prepare this stuff. And again, throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks, and you automate it, and we plug this in, whether it's a hack or something internal leaks accidentally because you just did it on the free version of AI. And all of a sudden, you've given your crown jewels away to the general public. And
Book.
then people are trying to hack you because they know everything about you. Is that a smart move? So we've already kind of beat that to death, but that's what people are doing. If you don't know what you're doing, call a professional. Dave, somebody, call anybody in IT that you trust and rely on.
Time out, time out, time out, time out. I'm sorry. No, not anybody in IT. Just because your best friend's ex-husband's dog walker was a
Mm-hmm.
computer developer who in 1962 worked for IBM as an intern doesn't mean that's an IT person you should be calling. You
Well,
call an IT
trusted,
professional.
trusted. Yeah.
And who does this, not knows about computers. That's a big distinction. So many
Sure.
times I walk into an environment, do an assessment. And, oh yeah, our stuff is taking care of my so and so is doing it. The owner has known him for 20 years. I walk in there and the most simple things, two-factor authentication is not enabled because the guy you've known for 20 years, he's been helping you for free or for a little bit of money for 20 years. And guess what? He or she hasn't been doing keeping up with the news, keeping up with technology, keeping up with what's changing. So, you know what? We're gonna share some tips for 26, and I want this at the very top of that list. Keep up with technology. I don't care if you're an interior designer or if you're running a multi-billion dollar conglomerate or if you are the guy who sits in the corner by himself called Milton with a staple, okay?
Oh,
You
office space.
need
Hold on, got to call it
security.
office. Love office space. Comes on, I'm watching whatever's left. Yes.
Cult classic. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That is a great movie. I came out when I worked in the corporate world. As a matter of fact, I had a really terrible boss at that point. And I think I told you this. There's a scene in there where main character goes in with the two Bobs who are trying to lay him off, and he has this whole scene with Bob. When you don't deal with people the right way, they just don't want to see you anymore. Something like that. I literally took that clip in 2001. Back then, you didn't have YouTube, really. I took
No.
that clip and sent it to our entire department, including my own boss. So, yeah, I'm a huge Office Space fan.
Right.
Moral of the story is you have to have security in place. Look, security is no longer something that you hear about, you read about. AI, technology, all of that isn't for, oh, that guy has it, this guy has it. Your phone now has built-in AI. How are you protecting your phone? Can I come grab your phone and just, oh, look, it's open. I could log into your bank account because it's there. I could do whatever I feel like. Or are you smart enough? Are you paying enough attention or working with someone who enforces these kinds of things so your stuff is secure? So as you start 26, have a security roadmap. Am I secured? Am I going the extra mile to do this? Or am I waiting to get hacked and in a panic spend days trying to fix this? So many calls I get from residential people. I got hacked. I gave out all my info. What do I do? I give him advice, but at that point, we prevent the fire. Once your house has been blown up, we're not the construction people. I can't help you anymore. So I give advice, but it's horrible because people could have done the basics and not experienced that, but they dismiss it because it's technology and technology scares them. And because they're scared of it, either they go to someone not qualified or they don't do anything with it and everything they built is up online.
Yeah. And I'll just say, put it in your estate plan because that's part of the senior conversation. I'm 66, so I qualify. I'm trained differently, but
Oh, good, yeah.
talk to your attorney and put this in your plan. Without a plan, you plan to fail, and make sure everything, including your digital assets, are protected. When you pass, because it's going to happen to all of us, what do you want happening to your digital assets? That needs to be part of that conversation. And I, I get in front of people and they're like, well, I don't know if that's okay. Get a trusted professional and get your attorney, get your CPA involved. Go ahead, Dave.
And if you're a business owner, you need to have a bus plan. What happens when you get hit by a bus? How's your business going to run? Do you have documentation? On the IT side of it, a core of what we do is we document everything. Every little detail is documented. I get hit by a bus, beautiful. Somebody has access to the kingdom. They press the PDF button. Here's your book on how your entire IT operates, right? So as a business owner, what happens if you get hit by a bus? God forbid, but shit happens.
Yep.
What are you going to do? You're not dead. You're not alive. You're in a coma, right? You can't give them your passcodes. You can't give people keys to your kingdom. Even if they got into your safe, what's in the safe? What do you have in there? Do you have directions or do you have, sorry, I missed your call?
So we technically call that a succession plan. You build that in, and we've had instances where people did pass and there is no succession plan. Your business is out of business. So talk to your heirs, talk to your executor of the estate, have that in place. And I've already mentioned the digital assets that you have out there. What are you going to do with it? Right? You got to at least put some thought behind because if you can monetize that or it is being monetized, you better have a plan. Hopefully, we're waking you up and, what have you here. So go ahead. What else were we talking about, Dave? I don't want to interrupt, but you were
You're
on a
not
roll.
interrupting at all.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Uh,
on a roll, which means you're butter. So I
uh,
just want to make sure you stay butter.
I don't know what else can we talk about. It's look, man, as we look forward, right? It's AI. You're not gonna get rid of AI. AI is it. Well, AI is at the core of your business, and technology is at the core of your business. That's what you have to recognize. It's time you recognize that. Uh, Last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, I gave a talk in front of the mayor of Hollywood, the CEO of Broward County. Wow. I mean, this lady runs the entire Broward County, right? And a bunch of other people. And my key thing was if you use technology in your business, then technology is the business. People need to come to this realization. If you're not dealing with technology, you're missing out. You're missing the point. And a huge part of that in 26 is AI. AI is changing technology in your business. AI is changing the technology that the bad guys use also. So if you don't have your defenses in the right place, if you're not focusing on the right things and doing the right planning, you're planning to fail. Glenn, I'm sorry, but you planned but you didn't plan right, so you failed. What happened? Your recovery plan had a flaw in it. So you went to test, you never tested it. Because you never tested it, it failed when time came. So, as a business owner, do you have a recovery plan and have you tested it? Because if you're not testing it, it's beautiful on paper. It's beautiful to show your cyber insurance company. They'll check the box and approve you. But the second something goes wrong, the first thing they say is, hey, when's the last time you tested this thing you gave us as your gospel? Oh, you don't do the testing or you haven't actually tested it? Yeah, we're not covering you. We're sorry. Have a nice day.
Or when your renewal comes up next year, wait till you see that premium.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
let's just say it doubled, whatever it is.
If you're lucky.
And so that $12,000 a day, you know what? We're not gonna cover all that. We're gonna make you feel real pain and say your deductible is now $100,000 instead of 12,000. Again, I'm making up the numbers, but that's what happens because you got to submit to your insurance company your plan, your performa, all that financial data, and they're gonna say, well, you didn't do this. You didn't run your annual test or biannual, whatever you agreed upon. If you fail, you're not following best business practices. So your insurance company is going to go, okay, wait till you see this premium, and you're never going to get the price you once got because you didn't follow your own policy.
You know what one of the worst things that happens is that causes all this is it's called standards drift. You have a base standard that you set up. When you built that list of things that the insurance company wanted, is two-factor authentication required? Yes, it is. Is training enabled? Yes, it is. Is this mandatory? Yes, it is. Well, guess what? As a business, things change. You request changes from your IT company. Your IT company goes in there. Oh, you know what? This isn't working. We need to do this to make it fixed. Guess what? A deviation of that was one of those items just became unchecked from your cybersecurity list. You didn't mean to, but it happened. So when you work with a proper IT company, that drift gets caught automatically and taken care of. It's one of the things we monitor is when those things happen, if there's a baseline that's required there, guess what? Within 4 hours, goes right back and alerts somebody of, hey, this changed, we fixed it, but we need to go fix it the right way.
Right. The,
Again,
the magic word for that is compliance.
compliance, yes, that is a big part of that.
If you don't have your own compliance officer, there were virtual ones. And again, David, I and trusted IT companies do have that. And our job is to monitor that all the time.
But see, here's the thing. Your property managed company isn't really going to listen when they hear this and think compliance because there's no real compliance that applies to them as far as they're concerned. But in terms of their insurance company, there's compliance that they need to comply by. So compliance, I could be a little misleading, is all I'm saying.
Uh, but
Don't confuse people.
if it's written in your plan, and you're going to hold me accountable, accountable, you're going to hold me. Yeah,
Do
it's
it
just
again.
the teeth are moving, the bridge work. If you're going to hold me accountable, and you and I manage this, we look at it, and we hand them every week. Here is a rundown of what needs to be fixed. Tell me what to order, or we have the order. We're going to do it. Oh, we don't have time for that. Now, don't wait a week,
Hmm.
wait a month, wait. And that's where we all get in trouble. So I have, if nothing else, if you know me well enough, I have a PhD in CYA, right? I'm going to say, Dave, we agreed the first, second of the month, whatever it was, we're going to do this. If you're telling me you don't have the time or you don't think it's worth it, you're going to initial, you're going to sign. My attorney and your attorney are going to also countersign. And if that's a problem, then we're probably not going to do business with you. That's the reality of compliance.
Truth of the matter is, if you're having to have if the conversation gets to that point, it's time for that client to find a new home anyway.
Yeah.
They're,
Oh,
they're, yeah,
yeah, we're gonna
yeah,
fire that client
yeah.
because we 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 well, again, I'm drawing a blank. We work with a higher authority on this, and we sign documents. And if this is not worth it to you, I understand, but we're not going to be able to support your efforts because a year down the road and you get this massive hack and your deductible doesn't cover it. And I don't want to go there. So this, and in today's world, and I know we're going to get ready to wrap in a few minutes, Dave.
Oh, ooh.
In today's world, we can't take chances. We are seeing shit getting stolen and taking businesses out of business. They're just not, you're not going to be around long enough to worry about if none of this bothers you. If you're a small one person, you still have some level of compliance you've got to deal with. Otherwise, if your business goes, then I can't help you.
If you're a one person, do the bus plan. If you're a one person, do the continuity plan, as Glenn calls it, but do something, because especially if you're one person, you get hit by a bus, the business is dead. There's no other person to walk in and know what's up. So honestly, that one person is at the top of that to-do list of making that succession plan. Okay, let's start giving a quick bing bang boom of what to do in 26. Adopt AI the right way. 90, I read this statistic somewhere. Anthony may have said it, but 95% of AI projects never went to full adoption. That means whether you're a small business or a big conglomerate, you planned it all out. We're going to do AI. We'll put all our data in there, but guess what? You never did. You never actually went for it. So think about those 95% that never implemented. Where's that data now? Did they actually go back and delete the data they gave it and never used, or is it sitting out there exposed? So if you're going to do AI, do it the right way. Don't just slap it all together and hope for the best. One concern I have with AI is they have all these browsers that are coming out. Be cognizant of that. The fact that the browser can now look at you, do your Word document, and tell you did something wrong, it can also look at you, log into your bank account, and do stuff there. It's the same browser. If you're using their browser, you're out there. We protect people by putting them into Edge and have that corporate, but have a proper plan for all this stuff. What else, Glenn? Security, security, security. You know, that's where my head goes. Help me out here and give me some more standard stuff.
Standards, I'll throw a few acronyms out there. You threw out MFA earlier, which is multi-factor authentication. We also should be installing authenticators, so we no longer need passwords. Those days have to be over because we're all creatures of habit. We use the same password, and I know that Dave probably uses his dog's name and a bunch of numbers. Those days have to end because generally speaking, most of us use the same base password over and over and over. It could be, again, your kid's name, your cousin's name, whatever. And once I figure out that one password, with the new super quantum computing coming out, I'm going to say 2-3 years, if not sooner, it will take milliseconds to break some of these passwords. and you're going to have a really bad fucking day. Let me just say that out loud. I had a bad fucking day. I called Dave the other day. He walked me off the ledge, but it was, cell phone, that kind of stuff. But if you're not going to put the proper protocols in place and somebody takes something and monetizes it, and by the way, if they steal your Facebook pictures and you don't care, I don't care. It doesn't matter to you. But if I can take those pictures and somehow monetize it, or your Instagram pictures, you're really going to have a bad day, because they could do some really bad stuff. And if kids are listening, I apologize, but there are free websites, which I will not mention, that you can take pictures and turn them into nudes for free.
If kids are listening, we got a bigger problem, by the way, but keep going.
Yeah, it's okay. But because of where I sit in a lot of these circumstances, where you take a normal Instagram picture and convert it into a nude, and then you get to a sextortion type topic. Yeah, this is way out there, Glenn. I don't need to know, but you do need to know that anyway a criminal, and the criminals are getting very good, everything looks real. And that could be a sextortion attempt against your kid. And you got to pay me $100, otherwise I'm going to publish it as a nude. And with some of the stuff we see with CISA, FBI, we follow them. We're seeing teen suicides going up. Okay. If there's nothing you haven't learned today, but they're going after our kids too. Could be going after you, turning a real picture into something else. Here's your danger, Will Robinson. They're doing things that we never thought of years ago. We had a pretty simple life. Our parents, grandparents had very simple lives. This is not simple. And let's just say I've had discussions with people how they need to manage their children. I mentioned firewall at the beginning, but there's a whole lot of education we're missing. I'm going to blow this topic away. I'm done. But you've got to start thinking sinister like a criminal, because the criminals don't care about what they do. They have no moral compass, don't give a shit, and they're here to hurt and take money or something of value. Bet you didn't think I was going to cover that one, huh, Dave?
That went dark really quick.
Yes.
Education being the headline. So
yeah.
Education. When I was saying earlier, keep up with technology. Education. Attend boring ass shows like the one you're watching right now and learn from geeks. Or go to your local library and see what they have. Join your local chamber of commerce and talk to the tech committee people. Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
Hey, Hollywood.
Hey, Hollywood. So talk to
we
those
said
people.
a few bad words, but
get connected
us.
with your local people so you know what's going on in the world. Don't hide from technology. And in the personal world, I'm sorry, nobody needs to know who your cousin, your mom, your wife is on Facebook. Don't make that public info. If I go to your public profile on Facebook, I could see all your pictures. I could see who you talk to, where you checked in, your favorite music, who your entire family is. Do you know what a bad guy can do with that?
What high school did you graduate from, and what year? What was your first car? What is your cousin's name?
So desperate to share, beautiful, share it, but at least make it private so it's only visible to your friends, not the general public. Let me tell you, one of the weirdest things I had to do in the last year and a half, and by the way, Glenn, you know my year has been all about being more public, was taking my LinkedIn from private to public. I still get weirded out by knowing that fact.
Look, my heart is beating through my chest.
2,000 followers, public. My whole life is out there. So LinkedIn for me is a touchy topic, but privacy. Social media is great for your friends, not the general
critical thinking. Be careful with what you share. Yeah. And again, I make fun of David's Tinder account, which is not true, but people have put stuff out there. I don't use Tinder. I'm a little bit old, but I don't think Tinder is even around. But the whole point is stop, peel it back a little, use common sense. Hell, use AI to tell you, secure AI, what you should and should not be doing. I don't have a problem with that. As long as it's safe and secure, it's paid, legal, ethical, moral. As long as you're following those 5 pillars, Glenn doesn't have a problem. And I tell kids that. But when I say legal, ethical, moral, what does that mean? They go, And I have spoken to students in front of the superintendent of schools of Broward County, and he goes, "You got us," because we're not teaching our young adults what is legal, ethical, moral, and don't overshare. So, end of that topic. The only thing that I would add to all this, Dave, is don't follow the hype of some of this stuff. Just because somebody came out with this and it's cool, hold on, stop. Let's take it apart. Let's look at it, because we're, as Dave started, and how we're probably going to end here is the hype is not worth it. Please be careful. Don't trust everything. You got to stop trusting, and that's hard. When I'm in front of a senior group, I have done this, and I warn them, you're going to hate me. You're not going to respect what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to help you save your life savings. I have had people attend for a few minutes. They shoot me the bird and say, I don't have to listen to this. They walk out. I'm sorry. That's why I want caregivers there when I do that stuff. And Broward Sheriff and other people bring me in to talk, and it's sad because they've lost money. And I gave you a couple examples. So it's more important that your information stays safe. That's what I care about.
And remember, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product.
Yep.
Your information is the form of payment. So if you respect your own security, remember that. Free is not always free.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's reality. Somebody's paying for that computer to sit there and do your work for you. So who is that? It's your data if you're not paying for it.
And if your app that you download from the internet is free, I understand a trial period. I get that part of it. But if you're not paying for the apps that you're putting on your smartphone, how do you think they make money? Anybody have an idea, Dave?
Let me peel this one more layer for you, just to freak everybody out as we end this.
Yes.
You ever heard of Temu?
Sure.
Cool. You ever notice that if you go on Temu's website, the very first thing they show you is the spinny thing. It's always there. You spin and you always win free. Okay? Once you win free, what do they ask you for? They ask you to load the app. Once you load the app, you get the free whatever they gave you. So you have to ask yourself, if Temu is a shopping site where I could access the internet and just go on the website and do what I got to do, why are they so concerned with me installing that app for them and giving them access to my phone? Why is it worth giving me free products? Not just a courtesy like we do with Gmail and stuff, but these guys literally shipping me stuff for free just to give them access to my phone. Just food for thought. Security is all about that. You have to think logically and critically. Why is this guy giving me this? What's the catch? What's the incentive? What's behind the screens?
But you haven't given them the
behind the screens.
Yeah, but you haven't given them the catch yet. You know what the catch is, right?
The catch is your data.
They're selling your data.
Yes, sir.
They're going to these data brokers that are getting hacked, and they don't really care. So again, that becomes a reputation discussion. Guys, if you're putting free apps on your phone and don't care, that app is taking your data and they're turning around and selling it for peanuts, for fractions of a penny, so they can make money from data brokers.
Then you start getting those phone calls and those emails and wonder why.
Right. So I think, Dave, is there anything else we want to cover for 26?
We're nerds. We could talk for hours about this
I know.
shit. But at this point, considering it's basically Friday, no, I think we should call it, and hopefully we'll get this out to people today. So as they're recovering from their New Year's Day tomorrow, they get to watch it and ask themselves what the hell drove them to listen to an hour of us rambling on.
Right. And if you're going to party tonight, we're doing this as we record it the afternoon of New Year's Eve. Have a designated driver. Please do not get behind the wheel if you've had a drink. Most of the ride shares, Uber and Lyft, offer some kind of discount within a limited geography to give you a ride back home. If you can't, call someone. We'll pick you up. Dave will. I might not. But the point is, don't get stupid out there. Don't get hurt.
Have a plan.
Have a plan. And go to like AAA, go to their website. They offer ride service. They'll give you a discount. Or if you're a part of any other motor vehicle program, they'll give you discounts if you're unable to drive. So please don't get behind the wheel. get a designated driver, and you know, just be safe out there. So
Good advice
I
from you,
think
Chief.
we're at end here. We've gone past, which is
Ooh,
typical for David and I. We get thrown out of a lot of places. We don't know when to shut up. But in all seriousness, this is about the community. It's about safety, education. If we talk too techy, get a hold of us. We'll explain it. But we try to keep this at a level that everybody understands. I will wish everybody, and you could actually, if I get out of the way here for a second, you continue wishing you a safe and New Year, safe New Year's Eve, and a hopeful, prosperous 26. This is
you
it for this
misspelled
year.
prosperous.
Prosper. Okay,
I made you look. Okay, anyway,
I didn't spell right. Prosper.
you did. I was messing with you. Keep going.
Do you speak Italian? Here, there you go. Seriously, everybody, be safe. You know how to find us by now. If you can't, that means you're really not looking. But we're here to help. Dave, go ahead and wrap us.
Getbehindthescreens.com. It's simple as that. Go on there. Our ugly faces are on there. Our bio is on there. And more importantly, our social media links are on there. Both of us put out a newsletter. You could find mine on my website, solutionssquad.com, or you could go to Get Behind the Screens, which is listed there. Newsletter goes out tomorrow. If you're not getting it, subscribe today, subscribe tomorrow. You get the next one. Glenn, put your plug in and let's wrap this up. People gotta go get
Um,
drunk.
I'm in between things. If you can't find me, as I said earlier, that means you're not trying. Glenn Benjamin, I am all over social media. Hit me up. I will be coming out with some new modernized AI newsletters that I've been working on in the past few weeks. So if you can't find me, get to Dave. He'll direct you to me if you can't figure out where I'm at.
And if you
So
Google me, I think the first result is that public LinkedIn profile, which is really weird. But yeah, David
yeah,
Moadab, just Google it and you'll see the ugly face there. All
okay.
right, let's wrap this up. I think this was great. We look forward to many more of these in 26, a lot more educational, and we'll see you guys there.
Peace out. Much love to you all. Please be safe.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.